What's up guys, Boss here, and in today's video we're going to be playing the Community Royal Tournament. So this is the first time this has ever happened in the game. As you guys can see, there were 8 cards banned. Some of them were chosen in-game, and some of them were chosen through polls on Twitter. So the Lightning, Tornado, Cannon, Skeleton King, Archer Queen, Miner, Log, and Phoenix were banned. Some really popular cards in the meta. So this is going to be the best deck for this tournament because there's a ton of people using Log bait inside of this because Log is banned. But as you can see, you have arrows in the Bar Barrel, which are going to be very good at dealing with baity cards. Before we head in the first game, if you guys would like to support me, you can use my credit code BOSS in any Supercell game. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right ahead in here and play some more games. We're already 3-0. I decided to not play a ton of games because I wanted to start recording as soon as possible and get a video out for you guys relatively early so you guys had a good deck for this tournament. I think this deck is also quite easy to play, and also don't worry if you do not have the Golden Knight, because in Royal Tournaments you can play any single card, even ones you don't have unlocked, and Golden Knight is obviously going to be amazing to have inside of this deck. So he's going to go for a Witch in the back here. We'll just go ahead and cycle a Flying Machine. Golden Knight's going to be really good against Witch because it'll dash on top of like all the skeletons that spawn, which we might even do right here. He did go for his Fireball, so it could be a good potential opportunity to go for Royal Hogs in a little bit here. See what he's got. Maybe he's got something like a Mega Knight as well. He probably has some sort of heavy card if I had to guess. The other thing is recruits are very good as well with the Log being banned, because the Log is probably the best spell against recruits because it just takes off the shields for 2 elixir and pushes them back, so it gets a lot of value. And with people not being able to do that, that's another reason why the recruits are really strong inside of this tournament. So we just go for a Bar Barrel here to help defend the Giant, and so the Zappies don't get damaged there. So we want to space out our stuff here so he's unable to Fireball the Zappies and the Flying Machine. Notice how we space that out there. We're going to go for the Golden Knight dash on top of all of that. It's going to take out the Witch and clean up that Giant. We're going to go Royal Hogs in the opposite lane because he used his Fireball. That's out of rotation. He had to go for a Dark Prince on top of that Golden Knight, which was pretty much his best counter to the Pigs in rotation. So as you can see, we're getting a ton of damage there. We're going to let the Dark Prince connect. It's a good play because he committed a ton of elixir and we got way more damage than the Dark Prince got. So I just didn't want to overcommit on it. I didn't want to really use my Zappies on it because I want to save them for the Inferno Drag. And if I played the Zappies too early, I don't know, he would have had more time to react to them, or they could have crossed the bridge. So I really wanted to just make sure I was ready for defense. And he's gonna go for a Graveyard. I guess Giant Graveyard is probably decent in this because I guess, well, actually the Archer Queen was banned, and usually Archer Queen is used in Giant Graveyard, so I guess not actually. So yeah, Graveyard isn't that good in this either, which is another reason why I think this deck is good, because Splash Yard does really good against Recruit Hogs, because stuff like the Tornado and the Tombstone just gets a lot of value against this deck. And as you can see, the tower is going to go down, and we're going to win this one as long as we defend for the next 15 seconds, which we'll easily be able to do. Space everything out here so we can't Fireball everything. We got a Bar Barrel coming in on top of the Graveyard. We don't even have to go arrows, and that's going to be GG. Nice first win there. I don't even think that's a very, very easy matchup because he did have a Fireball, and the Graveyard can be a bit tricky to deal with, but we had a very good start, and that's why this deck is called Fireball Bait, because you want to bait out the Fireball, so when they use it on something like the Flying Machine, that's obviously when you send in the Royal Hogs or abuse the Zappies. So this guy's actually won a Classic Challenge, you could saw on his badges, so gonna be someone who's at least a little decent. Jesse Pinkman is his name, so a character from Breaking Bad. If you guys know the show, it's a very popular show. So we're just gonna go for a Cage here. He's gonna go for a Cage as well, so this could potentially, I don't know, like, I mean, it could be a mirror match, but I don't want to say for sure because it could still be, you know, like Golem or something. But with him having the Golden Knight, I'm thinking more and more that this is probably a mirror match. So I'm hoping if this is a mirror match, he's using arrows and not Fireball, because if he does have Fireball, I think it's a bit challenging for sure, just because the Fireball gets more value than the arrows do in this kind of matchup. But either way, we'll, of course, try to win regardless. And okay, he does have the Fireball, unfortunately. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, them having Fireballs, it's gonna make things a little tricky, but we're gonna go Pigs because he just used the Fireball. And he just spent 9 elixir there. Wow, definitely overcommitting on top of those pigs. So we're going to go recruits now. He might go for pigs when he has the elixir, but he actually instead decides to go for a flying machine. So we're just going to go for a bar barrel there. And with the help of the tower, I'm hoping this should be alright. The flying machine is going to get distracted. We go Zappies last second. And yeah, we are fine. So we're not going to take really any damage. I think he is up a little bit of elixir, but we have a Cajun cycle. So if he does decide to go for Royal Hogs, I'm hoping we're okay. We can just go for a cage. So yeah, he's not even going to do that. So yeah, this really good start definitely is going to help us out because, like I said, I think with him having Fireball, it is advantage for him in this matchup. The arrows will still get us some value. I mean, they take care of the recruit shields, and they're pretty good against Zappies, but I think compared to the Fireball, just having that DPS on the pigs is really, really useful. So once again, he did decide to go recruits. So the best tip, I would say, in the mirror match is if someone goes recruits, play yours after, because yours are going to be way more valuable since you're kind of counter pushing off of theirs, and they don't have the recruits in cycle anymore. So he's going to Fireball that, so obviously we're going to try to take advantage here, going for the Royal Hogs. Forcing him to use Fireball on things besides the pigs is very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and arrow this. It's getting really good value because, as you can see, we're taking care of the... Okay, so he's going to go for a pig's push here. We've got to watch out a little bit. Going for the dash of the Golden Knight. He's getting some damage, but nothing too serious compared to what we've gotten so far. So as long as we play pretty good and chill here, we should be alright. I'm hoping in there. And once again, he is going to go recruits. I think every time he's doing that, he's making a mistake. If he wants to play them, he ideally should be doing it after me or playing them in the back. He shouldn't be cycling them the way he is. So we're going to go Flying Machine here. I'm going to even go, yeah, nice, he even fireballed that, so perfect timing with the Zappies right there. We're going to go for Royal Hogs. Ooh, maybe I should have split them, because now that Golden Knight, if he dashes, is going to get some... Oh, he's maybe not going to dash, I don't know. But either way, look at the recruits in the other lane getting a ton of damage. So we're going to go Golden Knight. Again, you don't really want to play your recruits until they use them, so we're not going to make the mistake he's been making and use them unless he decides to go for them again. Otherwise, you don't want to use your recruits. So I'm going to go for the dash here with the Golden Knight. We're going to split Zappies and see what he wants to do. Okay, he's going to go Cage. So we'll go for Cage here as well. And at this point, we're just kind of... Alright, let's just go recruits now. Bar barrel this. And yeah, we just need to defend now. We're pretty much in a very comfortable spot. Flying Machine here. He is going to go for the Fireball. So let's actually Royal Hogs this lane. Opposite lane that he's got the Golden Knight in. He's going to Cage most likely. There it is. Just going to go Zappies in the back. And then get ready with the recruits if he decides to play them. Yeah, he is. So once again, we're going to react to his recruits. Go for the Golden Knight dash. Go for a Bar Barrel on top of all that jazz. Go for a Flying Machine on his Flying Machine. If he fireballs, then the Zappies are going to get fire. Yep. Zappies are going to get value. The pigs are going to get value. You don't even need to go for the pigs, though. Another, like, should be a common sense tip, but, like, if you're winning already by a pretty good margin, you don't really need to go for offense, because that kind of gives them an opportunity to counter push, so instead just, you know, double down on your defense, and that should be your main goal, especially at the end of the game. You don't want to potentially, like, throw a game by pressuring when you don't need to. So there we go, we are able to take down Jesse Pinkman. He did have a Classic Challenge wins as well, so definitely not a bad opponent, especially very, very early on in a global tournament. You typically won't face people who have, like, Classic Challenge badges and stuff like that. We were able to win relatively easy, even though I think it's a good matchup for him as well, because as you could tell, I hardly used my arrows at all in that match because, yep. Oh, wow, this guy has a Classic Challenge badge as well, so we're getting some decent opponents early on here. We're against Ahmed. He's going to go for a Bomber. Okay, so this guy might be running Golem. I'm not really sure, because E-Giant would be a very strange thing to play, especially with the Tornado being banned. So when we see the Bomber, it's looking like it's most likely going to be a Golem deck, and sure enough, he is running Golem from the looks of it. So Golem is actually a pretty bad matchup, especially when they have Bomber. You can win, of course, but it's a bit tricky for sure. Just defending the golem pushes can be a bit of a hassle. I do think the arrows are going to be quite useful, though, against, like, the Night Witch and stuff, and they do take out the bomber, so it might not be that bad. I just think, you know, we're going to have to play pretty well. Our defense has to be solid. He's going to let that lock on. Wow. Those arrows do take that out, though. Alright, so I'm thinking we just go for a cage and then see how he wants to respond to this. He'll probably go golem now, I would assume anyway. Yeah, so there's the golem. So we're just going to go Zappies here. Maybe we go for recruits, but we do have to kind of... I don't know. Honestly, recruits, if possible, you don't really want to play them on the golem push. If he goes bomber, I'm going to immediately... Oh, he's got giant skeleton. Actually, instead of arrowing the bomber, I'm going to bar barrel. I think it's going to get more value anyway, because it's going to help distract the giant skeleton a bit. Alright, I'm going to go recruits now. I think we actually do need them, because... just as distraction. Okay, Megumin was getting targeted. That's actually a good thing, I think. As long as that... that giant skeleton is going to make it to the tower. I don't think we could have avoided that, but it's not going to take the tower. And look at the left lane. We pretty much took his tower there. So we're just sending in the pigs to hopefully get his tower almost in arrow range. And if he's going to give us that value with the arrows, I'm obviously going to take that. So yeah, his tower is going to be in arrow range. So even if he does end up taking our tower, we should be in an okay spot, since we've dealt quite a lot here on his right tower, as you can see. So we're going to set up a cage here. He already went giant skeleton, so if he has to golem to take our tower, that's very, very good for us. We're going to go royal hogs here to distract everything, pull back the Night Witch, and if we defend this, then I guess this is GG, because arrows do not do enough damage. This is a tournament standard. I think arrows might only do like 100 or something. So yeah, as you can see, that's going to be GG. Nice win here against Golem. Definitely not an easy matchup. But I will say, because he had an interesting variation with Giant Skeleton, and it was so weird, maybe it wasn't that bad, but typically Golem is for sure not easy when you're running recruits. But if you're careful and defend well, you'll be fine. And I think arrows might help more than the fireball in that type of matchup, just having that cheaper counter to the bomber and Night Witch bats and stuff. Alright, so I guess we'll play a couple more games here. If this guy's not going to do anything, we can just start with a cage. A cage is a very good and safe starting play, because they'll have to... Wait, what? I don't know why he did that, but we're just going to bar barrel. Honestly, because of how aggressive that graveyard was, I'm thinking of just going for recruits push, because, I mean, he kind of just wasted, in a way, 5 elixir, because we can counter push off of it. So it's a very safe play to be very aggressive like this, just because of him deciding to go for that graveyard. And as you can see, as a result, we end up getting a ton of damage, taking the lead, which is pretty deserved in my opinion, since he decided to go for a very strange graveyard early on. Unfortunately, the Bowler is going to... Bowler and the Valkyrie, they're both going to be very useful in this matchup for him, obviously. They're very good against the Royal Hogs, but what we can actually do is, he doesn't have his Bowler in cycle. We can go ahead and go Royal Hogs to kite the Valkyrie back, and he'll probably... Oh, he's got... Okay, so that's good. The Inferno Tower is really bad against recruits, which a lot of people are playing, by the way, because the cannon was banned, so there's a lot of people running Inferno. I mean, they might run Bomb Tower instead, but most decks wouldn't run Bomb Tower unless maybe they're running Hog or something, but Hog would be difficult anyway for recruits, so I guess you don't... Okay, wow, so once again, he's gonna go for a very aggressive graveyard, kind of a bad play. The placement's also not very good, because as you can see, it would have actually activated the King Tower if we didn't have enough stuff there to take out the graveyard. So we go for Zappies here. The Flying Machine isn't even crossing over. The Megumin is quite good, though, against the Flying Machine, so that's a bit annoying for sure. Kind of a bad graveyard because nothing was tanking for it, but he does have the freeze, so this is for sure not a good matchup at all, but because he's not playing that well, we might be able to win. And if you might be wondering, like, why is it not good? Well, he's got Bowler, he's got Valkyrie. He's just got a lot of good stuff for some of our cards, but I think the one thing that helps us quite a lot is the fact that he has the Inferno, which is not going to be very helpful for him. I feel like that was, again, a very bad graveyard, and even if he decides to freeze with it, it was still very bad because that's an overcommitment, and now he's going to have a hard time defending. As you can see on offense here, we're getting a ton of damage. We're even going to send in the Royal Hogs here. He just used his he can't afford a Bowler, so those Royal Hogs are just going to just make a run to the tower, put us in it, yeah, and even take it. We don't even need to go arrows. So that's going to be GG. Nice win there. Definitely tough, without a doubt. I mean, Graveyard Freeze, and he had Valkyrie Bowler. I mean, he had a ton of answers to what we had, but luckily we were still able to break through. So this will probably be our final game here, regardless of if we win or lose against Sebastian. So we got, okay, so this guy's running log bait, but funny enough, of course, we match log bait and we don't have Barbarian Barrel or arrows in our starting hands to clean it up. So that's, you know, just great. So even when you have a deck that does good against it, you can still sometimes get screwed over by starting hand, as you can see. He also has a different kind of log bait deck. He's got the Valkyrie and the Furnace, so very interesting variation for sure, but we do have arrows, which are great against the minions, obviously, so those hopefully shouldn't be too much of a threat. He's got the Lumberjack as well, so yeah, I don't know what kind of log bait deck this is. Very, very weird for sure. I think we should just chill, kind of take things easy until he shows us more of his cards, because I don't know the rest of his deck. He probably has some sort of spell, if I had to guess. So yeah, he's going to go for a Goblin Barrel. We're just going to go ahead and Bar Barrel that. Have a good rotation this time around for defending it, which is nice. He's going to go for a Prince. The Recruits are pretty good against the Prince, but I don't know if we really want to use the Recruits just yet. Because, like, once again, I don't know. You know what? I think I'm actually going to use them now. Pretty good timing because he just cycled his arrows. Okay, he's got a Wizard. Wizard is really good against Recruits. He's got a Valkyrie. Wow. Wizard and a Valk. That's kind of... That's kind of annoying, not gonna lie. He just cycled his minions, though, and I think he has no elixir. I could be wrong, but he should be completely dry on elixir. I'm hovering my arrows in case he... Yep, I was gonna say, goes for, like, a Goblin Barrel defensively, or even if he just went for a Scar Me. I wanted to be quick. You know, quick. Going for those arrows immediately. And identifying that he was low on elixir right there was incredible for us, obviously. Pretty much just won us the game. Now we just gotta defend, and we'll be chilling. So we'll just go for split zappies here. See what this guy's gonna do. He's gonna go for a Furnace. Just go for a Golden Knight here. We're just defending. I mean, we already won, right? Like, it's obvious. This is, like, over already. But, you know, don't want to choke the game, obviously, right? So we just gotta get Recruits down here. He's gonna go for a Valk. Gonna arrow this Jazz. And we are fine. By the way, just a tip, the Golden Knight dash actually does take out a Goblin Barrel. I played it late, but a Golden Knight can fully counter a Goblin Barrel. So even if your, say your cycle's kind of wonky, right? Like you don't have arrows or Bar Barrel and cycle, and then there's a Goblin Barrel coming in. Just play the Golden Knight behind your tower, do the dash, and if you do it quick enough and if you have enough elixir, it can fully counter it. So you have 3 ways of countering the Goblin Barrel with this deck. And even though we didn't play against a traditional log bait deck, I would actually argue that deck we just played against was even harder because he had the Valkyrie and the Wizard, which are really good against pigs and Recruits. But you're going to have an even easier time if you're playing against just a regular log bait Inferno deck. You're going to wreck that with this kind of deck, and there's a decent amount of log bait in this tournament because of the log ban. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like it if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already. Maybe I'll do another video on this tournament going to 25 or 30 wins if this video gets a lot of support. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll do another video on it. Anyways, thanks again. Until next time, guys.